Hey everyone, and welcome back to Dark Forest for the next episode in our Let's Play series. So we're now into September on the farm, and one of our jobs for today, as I mentioned last time, will be sowing the barley up in the field by the horse stables. Before I do that though, I am going to make some slight changes to that field and probably get the open horse pasture put in first. I know we don't technically need it for another year or so before we can switch horses to it, but I thought we may as well get that built now so I know exactly where it's going to go and what space it's going to take up, and then I can work around other things around that. So first off, we've got two trailers of logs that I've cleared that we can get sold first, and then we need to clear a few more trees, so we'll get 2 more containers so I can get some more trees cleared to be able to extend the field. We'll put the barley in slightly and get that moved over a little bit as well. Alright, so let's see how much we get for these two. So most of the logs in these 2 containers have come from behind the horse stables, going down the track that was by the trailer park, so in between the house and the trailer park. So I've cleared along there so I can move the road over slightly, and I did clear a few more trees at the back of the horse stables as well. So we're up to 142,211, which I'm really thinking today we may get enough to be able to get the second FDR equipment. I have installed the latest version, which is the 1.14, which was released early this week. So if we now go to forestry, so I've got all the latest equipment now. So as I mentioned before, I would look to get a second forestry machine or change our forestry machine for one that has the detachable process head. The trouble with that is the process heads are separate now, so we'd have to buy that separately to the actual machine. So currently we've got this one, which was 150,000 with the process head and the machine, whereas like the new ones now are 150,000 and that's just for the machine, so we need to get the money for that as well. But I'm thinking if we do go down that route and then we can use the grab as well on one of these, then we could possibly sell ours and then just upgrade that. I don't know how much money we'll get back for the one we've currently got. Let's have a look, see what it's showing it's worth in here. So it's showing it's 114. So if we sold that now, brought it up to the store, we'd probably get a little bit more than that. That'd possibly take us up to around about 260,000, maybe a little bit more. So that should give us plenty to be able to buy a new one with a separate head and then a separate grab, which will make picking up the logs a lot easier. And then eventually we can get a second machine and have one with the fixed, one for the grab on all the time for loading, and then the other one for clearing trees. But it also gives us the option as well that we could get the bunch head at some point if need be. So I think that'll be a good way to go for today. But I think first thing we'll do is actually, I don't know whether to go and get the tree harvester now and get that sold, and then just get it swapped over now. Yeah, I think we'll do that. I'll go and get the tree harvester. We'll get the one we've got sold, and then we'll get the new one with a new process head. We've got enough money to do that, and it's something I want to do anyway. So yeah, we'll do that now. So I'll go for a nice long walk and a slow drive back down to the store with the tree harvester. Okay, so I've got our tree harvester down here, so we'll get this sold. See how much money we can get for selling it down here at the store. So 125,778. Condition and paint condition doesn't look like it's actually moved, and I have not repaired it. So we'll get that sold. So up to $268,027 now. So we can get the new harvester head. We should be able to get the separate process head and also then the grab to use with it, so we can then load up more logs, hopefully a lot easier. So I've not tried the latest stuff yet, so hopefully this all works reasonably well. Now I just need to decide which one to actually get, and so then we can always get a second one that's more suited to loading a bit later down the line, because all we're doing at the moment is just picking the logs up and putting them into the container, so it's not as if we've got to lift them too high up to get them onto a trailer. So we'll buy that one for 150,000, and we'll get the fixed processor head as well to go with it. That's 95,000 for that one. So we're down to 23,000, which actually I don't think is quite enough to get the grapple at the moment. Slightly short, so I didn't quite work that out well, but at least we can cut some trees down and we can come back and get the grapple another time. Well, there is our new tree processor, the Tigercat 822C. I don't think this is one I've used before, so hopefully this works well, and we'll try it and see how we go with it. One other thing we need to buy as well while we're here is 2 more containers. So we'll get that switched off. I'll get 2 more containers. I'll get these back up to the farm, and then we can start getting some trees cut down and try the new processor. Right, so this is the area I've been working on. So I did mention last time about that group of trees just on this corner. So I've cleared that, and now you can see there where I've deleted the grass just going along there where the road will run now. So it'll run just in front of the trailer park there. And then I said I've cleared a few trees down along this edge, and then I've moved the road, or where the road will be, until we paint the texture in. So for now I've just deleted the grass. So the road will come a bit more over this way, give us a bit more space between the road and the horse stable area, and then eventually I'll carry on down that way toward the animal dealer. So what I want to do is get some more trees cleared alongside this field, just coming back probably where we've cleared, so we can extend this field down. Because looking at the horse pasture, the open pasture, I think it comes to around about here, so we'll lose this section of this field to get that in. So just to make it still worth that we've got a reasonable sized field to work, we'll clear these fields, and then we can extend this field out a bit. So if we get in the new Tigercat, and we'll give this a try. So we'll get that switched on. Just check the cut length is 9 meters. And we'll give it a try. I presume all my controls should be the same as before. There we go, that's the first tree cut. Now because this is a separate process head, you do get that little bit of wobble between the attacher joint. So hopefully that won't be too bad as we go on. But so far it seems okay, albeit a little bit quiet. Well, that seems to be working okay, so I'll continue getting as many of these trees cleared as we can, so we can extend this field a little bit more, and also get a little bit more money so we can get the other head. And actually what we need to do is get the containers, so I can try and pick these up and put them straight in the containers as we did before. So if I get this one turned around, I'll probably just put this one here that way for now, and we'll start filling this one as we cut. Once we get the other grab, we'll be able to just pile all the trees up and then just pick them up in bigger piles to load, which should make loading a little bit easier as well. So hopefully this one should work the same. So the downside to this one is we don't have the reach we had on the other one, slightly bigger. But for what we're doing this way at the moment, it should work out okay. Until we get a bit more money, we can get the second one that we can then keep as a loading one. So there we go. We'll continue this and get these containers filled and see how much area that opens up. Okay, so we've probably got 2 more trees to go to fill these 2 containers. Then what we'll do, we'll get these sold. I'll buy the log grab. So the next load of containers we do, I'll be able to just cut them and put them into piles. And then just come along with the grab on and then pick up hopefully like 5 or 6 logs at a time that we can then quickly load in. And if we've got all the trees cut into one big pile in one place, which can partly container next to that, and then we should make filling the container a lot quicker. So it'll hopefully just improve our efficiency a little bit. So yeah, probably 1 more tree will probably do. So we've opened up a decent area, but I'll probably get 2 more containers and then get another row of trees cut going back. So we've actually probably cleared beyond the actual field, but I'll take this one anyway as it's closest by, and that's a nice big tree as well, which should fill the container. So what I'll probably do is get 2 more containers from probably where the back of that trailer is on the edge of the field line. I'll probably clear another row of trees going back across the back of this field, going down that way, just so we can extend it out a little bit more. And then we can get that done. Get the field extension plowed in, get some lime spread on the new section. And then get this field sown with barley for next year. We'll also get the other horse open pasture built. And looking at the horses as well, we're almost at a point where we've almost doubled their value from what we paid for them. So technically now most of the horses we've got we could potentially sell and make a profit on. The amount of profit we'd make wouldn't be very big, but they are at a point now where we could actually start making money from them if we were to sell them and buy some more to replace them. But so at the moment their value is not quite worth enough to make it worth doing that. But another few months and I think they'll be up to £1,000 plus. So we could potentially make 500 on each horse if we was to take them, sell them and buy some new ones. I say I don't think it's quite worth it at that price. But if you look at the first load we bought at $744 now, their value. Fitness is up to 75%. Obviously that price will continue increasing because they're only 3 months old at the moment. And then the second lot are all up to 590 currently. Right. So get that switched off so we're not wasting fuel. I'll get these down to the sell point. We'll get these sold. I'll get 2 more containers and we'll also be able to buy the grab as well now once we've sold these because we'll have enough money for that. Alright, so another 2 containers to be sold. That's 28,101 and 28,102. Literally $1 difference between those two. So nice and consistent. So yeah, I'll get the log grab bought, and then we'll get 2 more containers and get those back over to the farm, and I'll probably get those filled and get those sold before we come back again. And then we can get the field extension ploughed in, get the horse open pasture built, so we know exactly where it's going to go and come to. Okay, so I'm back from the store. I've just sold 2 more containers and I've got 2 more on. We're not going to fill these 2 today. I think we've opened up a large enough area now just to extend that field out a little bit more. So we can probably get this field extended now. Then we can get it sown with barley before we try and finish up for today. So before we do that though, as I mentioned, I do want to get this open horse pasture built. So if we just go into build mode and then go animals, horses. So we've got the open range horse. Again, this is by Elk Mountain Modding. So same pack the horse stables from, and I'm thinking of putting this around about here somewhere. As you can see, we are going to cut into that field quite a bit. One of the reasons why I want to clear those trees first, so we could extend that out a little bit. If we bring that kind of roughly to the side of those, actually that's lined up. Go a little bit back to give us a bit of space between the stable. I think if we go around about there, that should do. And then we can delete this field. There we go, plant. Just get the meadow grass, which I always find works well. As you get a nice brush for it. And we go get that set to 270 degrees on the minimap. Best as we can. I'll leave a little bit of a gap down that side. So if we take that field off to there, and then we can delete that section as well. There, so we now know where the horse pasture is going to be, and we can then extend this field down this way a little bit. Looking at that, I may just do another load of trees. That one's fine. I don't think that extension is going to be as big as what we've taken off. So I may just clear a few more trees just across there to open this up a bit more. Potentially we could come bring that field round. But what I would eventually do, because I want to put another field in down in this area. Just before we get to that bit where it starts raising up. So possibly put a track in that goes down the edge of this field. And then once we buy the other land here as well, we'll have all this space to work with as well. So yeah, I'm just looking at, I don't know if that extension's going to be big enough. Might need to just clear a few more trees. What I'll probably do is just stack them up out the way for now. Just open that space up a little bit more. We'll also round off the edges of this field a little bit as well. If I just lower that down. What I'll probably do is just take a bit off and then we'll re-plow in the corner for there. And then the other end should be fine. So if we go and, yeah, just trying to think. I don't know if that's going to be big enough. So yeah, I'm probably going to get a few more trees cleared. As I say, I probably won't load them up in the containers to sell today. I'll just get them moved and probably just bring it back to about here. So just in front of where we've got this log pile. Take any trees out in that area. Just say to it, give us a little bit more space for this field extension to make it more worthwhile actually doing. Otherwise we're going to end up with a smaller field than we had anyway. So we'll get these pushed back a bit. I'll get these switched over to the process head and we'll get these cleared. And then we can get this new field extension ploughed in. Okay, so I've cleared a few more trees down that end of the field so we can extend this out a little bit more. I've just switched the jewels back on the International and we've got the plough hooked up. So we can get these dropped down. Yeah, that's one thing as well, I forgot about the stones. Right, so I don't want to plough up the part of the field we don't need to. I don't want to have too many stones to remove. So we'll get a low crate fields on and we'll bring that forward. And I just want to try and curve that round a little bit to join up with that section of the field there. It doesn't matter if it goes a little bit over, and if I get the enhanced vehicle control, we can tidy that bit up just with the landscaping tools. So we can drive nice and straight forward and we'll get that drop down. I don't want to be ploughing up the area of the field where we've got no stones. So we'll bring this down to the tree line as close as we can, but not too close. Now I've got those nice pile of logs there, and there's another pile over by the tree harvester as well, which I'll probably get those loaded up into the container ready for next time to be sold. Yeah, so it's going to be a case of getting this field created, or the extension done. We're going to need to remove the stones and then get some lime spread on the new bit, and that's how we can come back then and sow the entire field with barley for next year. Okay, so last little strip to do, and that's the field extension done. That one pesky log I missed, but I tidied up all the shorter pieces. So there's always at least one stump or one piece of wood you miss. Let's get that last little bit done. So that's our field extension done, which I think we've probably added around about the same as what we took off, maybe a little bit more. So we're not gaining too much from the extension, but we've probably not losing anything by taking that space away for the open horse pasture. At least I know that's where it's going to go and then I can work from that. Now, because there's some things I wanted to do, and I really need to know exactly where that was going to go. I'm just trying to think, does this plough fit in this doorway? It does. Yeah, maybe it doesn't. Just about. I'll get that dropped down. I've got to disable allow create fields. So I've got now plough texture in there. So yeah, next job is to get the stones all picked off the field. Just gonna drop that there. We'll get the skid steer and get the stone picker on. I'll get all these stones removed, get the lime spread, then we can get the barley sown. And then it'll be a case of doing the similar as before. We'll have to go over it with the rollers and then spray it with herbicide. Obviously we won't need to spray the entire field with herbicide because the new section we've ploughed in won't have any weeds grow in it. And I'm just going to unload these stones into a pile on the ground here. And then what I'm probably going to do with this is I'll get a bucket for the wheel loader, which will be a lot easier to load the stones into the actual stone crusher then, rather than messing around trying to set the trailer up for a ramp. We've got the wheel loader, so we may as well get a decent bucket for that, which should have the height on then to put the stones directly into the stone crusher when we need to. Let's get that switched on and get this load down. I'll get all these stones removed and then we can get the lime spread. Last few stones to collect, and we can get the lime spread. As the spreader really doesn't take much lime, I may just spread lime across the entire field, as it's not going to take up too much extra time. At least that way then the field's got an even layer of lime across it. Because if we don't do that, we'll get 2 more harvests and that top section will need lime on. Just got these last couple of stones here. Again, I will just double check the map just to make sure we have got all the stones off. Yeah, just those few there where I set the plough up. I just need to take off, and then that will be the stones all out the way. And this last little pile here. Well, that should be, yep, that's all these stones done. I'll tip these with the other pile, and then we'll get the bucket for the wheel loader at some point so we can get these stones processed for a little bit of extra lime. I'll get this cleaned off because the John Deere little skidder is starting to look very dirty. So we'll give it a quick clean up and then we'll get this put away. Now we've got the ability to clean our machines, we might as well keep them looking nice and tidy. Got a bit of stubborn dirt on the skid steer that doesn't want to come off. There we go, it's starting to. Well, these are some stubborn machines for cleaning. I think that will do. They look a lot better. I should have got that switched off really. So yeah, we'll get this back in the shed so it's out the way. Right, so we'll get the lime spread and then the next job, sow it with barley. So that can be in the ground then start growing. Okay, so that's the lime spreading almost done. Got that one bit there where I missed. And we can get the barley sown. Well, that's it done. So I'll get this switched over to the seed drill. We do need to go and get some more fertilizer actually. So we'll need to nip up to the store. So I'll probably go to the store, get a couple of bags of fertilizer, get the seeder on, and then we can get the barley sown. Right, so the drill's been filled with fertilizer, and we've got full capacity of seed as well. That should be more than enough to get this field done. We'll get that load down, and we'll get the barley sown. What we'll do once I've finished this, we'll just put the fencing around the open pasture, the horse pasture, so we know where that's going to be. If we've got enough money to do all that. Obviously we know fencing's quite expensive. And then maybe I'll have to have a little bit of money left just to tidy up the edge of that field in between there and the pasture with a bit of meadow grass. Get some of that painted. And what I want to also do at some point is get a tree planter, and then we can start getting some trees planted back in. There will be just decorative trees, so maybe some oak or elm trees just planted around the yard here and there. I know we can just buy them in build mode, but obviously they're quite expensive as well, and it'd be far cheaper to get a small tree planter and a pallet of saplings. But what I will probably do is go into build mode first, and then just go around with the largest tree so I can see what it's going to look like fully grown. That is the one downside to planting trees, is you don't know how it's going to look until it's fully grown. So I'll use the ones in build mode just to kind of say, yeah, is that tree going to be too big in that place, and then probably just put a little mark on the ground with a painting tool so I know where to plant the trees. But that's something I would like to try and do soon as well. So we can add a few more trees back around the yard. So it's not looking so sparse. Okay, so that is all the barley sown. The next job will to get that rolled, and then we'll spray it with the herbicide on the section that's not been ploughed to prevent the weeds coming through. I was just thinking next time soybeans I think should be ready to harvest. I don't know if the grass will be ready to cut, but potentially we'll be getting the last cut on the grass field for this year for silage. So we'll get the Anderson inline wrapper, and we'll cut the grass, bale it, and then get those wrapped up so we can get a bit of silage. They should be ready around about January to sell, which is usually when the best price for silage is. Usually works out pretty well if you do an autumn cut for silage, but it's usually fermented ready for when they're at the best price to sell. Get that dropped off and refill the seed as well while we're there. I'll get the rollers hooked up. I'll get the field rolled, and then I'll spray the herbicide, and we just need to get the fencing done and try and tidy up that area a little bit around the open horse pasture. Which one thing I forgot to check as well is exactly how many horses that hold. 25, so we can we could possibly get some more horses now. We've got 8 in there currently. The reproduction of those will be 16 total. That'll still leave quite a bit of space in the open pasture. So I'm thinking possibly we could get what's that, 9, so maybe get another 4 horses for the open pasture, so when they reproduce that'll give us 24 horses in total. Yeah, it might be worth doing, getting another 4 horses for the open pasture. At least they can then start aging up. Because we've got plenty of oats, we've got plenty of hay, so we're not worrying about feed. We've got space to do that as well, and because they take, I say, 22 months to get to the reproductive stage, the earlier we can get them, obviously the sooner that will be. So I think that might be a good idea to get another 4 horses in there. So then when they reproduce, then we'll be up to 24, which will be a nice even number. And it'll make the most space of what we've got for horses as well. We're almost done with the herbicide. So there's a few patches where we obviously ploughed, we didn't need to apply any, and I think there's one tiny little bit over here I missed when I first started on the corner that I'll just go over again just to double check. There's a tiny patch somewhere around here that may or may not have got done, but I think that should be everything for the herbicide spraying anyway. We can get that folded up and we'll get this put away. As for the soybean field, I did mention last time possibly putting the barley into that one as well, and then potentially doing another field for oats next year, like creating another new field for oats in the spring. I don't know if we'll do that. I just need to check the crop rotation calendar, or crop rotation. I think we could do oats. Yeah, oats will be 1.1, which isn't too bad. So I think potentially we'll do oats again in that field, and we'll leave that till spring to get that planted up once we've harvested it. So next job, as I mentioned, I want to get the fencing around here, and I completely worked out the horses wrong when I said 24. I completely forgot to take into account the 8 horse capacity of the stable. So in total, we've got capacity for 33 horses now, 25 in the open pasture and then 8 in the stable. So that means we could go up to 16 horses now, which will take us up to 32 when they reproduce. I think also what I was thinking as well is 8 horses for 1 horse helper is probably quite a lot. So if we do get any more, then we'll get another trailer for a second horse helper. Because I think like going up to 16 horses for 1 horse helper would be quite an undertaking for one person to ride, clean, and muck out 16 horses. So we'll go into build mode. And we'll go fences, decoration. Yeah, we want fences. And we'll go with the same one we put around the sheep pasture, which was the split rail fence, if I can find it. So yeah, the Mack Trucker 921 split rail fence. And we'll put a gate in as well. I'll probably put the gate in kind of probably opposite where the entrance to that is. If we actually put the gate in first. I want to come just over the blue line and we'll have it opening inwards. That looks reasonably central. Probably not perfect, but it's close enough. I just realised as well there's a smaller gate. Never noticed that last time. But we'll go back to fences. Not that one. Where's the fence? I've lost it. There it is. Yeah, we'll go just slightly beyond the blue marker so the horses aren't going to be glitching through it. Or glitching through the fence. I think that should do. And we need to come right over by the truck. Probably bring it out one more. Say 15,000 for that run. Yeah, this is quite expensive. At least the actual pasture itself was quite cheap to put down. Only 5,000, so I think we need to be somewhere around about there. That's straight. Looks straight enough. Probably come from this end actually. see if we are in the right place. No, that's just slightly yeah, that's fine. We'll get that connected up. That's all fenced in. So that's a another job done. So we're down to 25,000 now. I think we had about 77 or something, 75. So we can get rid of the blue marker now. And that's also going to be very expensive, is painting all the meadow grass back in here that I deleted from the field as well. I don't think we're going to have enough money to do that now. Let's just put a bid in and see. If we go the largest brush size, I'll just go in the corner. So we're on 22,839. Yeah, nearly 2,000, probably more than 2,000 just for that one patch. And meadow grass is definitely not cheap. I don't think we're going to have enough money to do all this now. So I may have to finish this off next time when we've got a bit more money. Yeah, we're down to 8,000. And I also need to make the next loan payment, which we'll do now as well before I forget. So we'll repay another 5,000 on the loan. So we're down to 90,000 left owed. But we do now only have 3,474. So I think we'll leave it till next time to get any more horses. Just so we can get a little bit more money as well. And then we can try and get a little bit of extra money as well to finish tidying up the landscaping around here. And what I'll probably do as well is put another gate in down here so we can have a slight entrance to the farm from this way in between these two. And then we can possibly tidy up around this area and get that done as well. So yeah, still plenty to do. And but we have made some more progress today. So we are now also up to 50 sheep, so they have reproduced. So we've got now 50 in here. Obviously it's going to be a while before the new births are. Actually, I may have missed it, or I did mention it before. I can't remember, but they're saying they're 4 months old, so it's been a while if I didn't mention that we were up to 50. I think I probably did, or I forgot. Yeah, these are actually up to 80%, so they'll probably be up to their reproduction within the next month or two. So actually we'll be up to 75. And chickens are doing well. We'll need to top up their feed before next month. But we'll leave this episode there. So I say more progress made. We've got the new tree harvester. And then we've got the grab for that as well, which means we can pick up more logs in one go to make it a little bit easier to load up the containers, or a little bit quicker as well. So we'll save up over winter to get a second FDR machine that we can then leave the grab on, and that will be more suitable for loading logs onto trailers as well. So next time we'll probably get another trailer built so we can get another horse helper, get another 4, possibly 8 horses to take us up to 16 in total. And I think that'll be all the horses then until they reproduce. We've got the barley planted, this field changed and extended, and we've also got that open pasture bill, so that's in place. So yeah, we'll leave it there for this time. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I really do appreciate that. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, then please do consider subscribing. We've got more Farming Simulator 22 content coming up, with the Let's Play series and also the live streams as well. So yeah, please do consider subscribing if you've not yet already. I really do appreciate that as well. And a big thank you to everyone that's watched. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you again. Goodbye.